Who is that?
Hey, Zori.
Yep.
Hey, Zori. My name's Sam. I'm with the FBI. How you doing?
I'm tired.
I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, man. You're not in trouble, but you posted some stuff on YouTube a couple days ago, and it came across our desk. What's been going on?
You want to have a seat?
You want to talk away from these folks?
Who is this?
These guys work for me. He works for you, poor. This is Scott. He works for me.
He works with you?
Yeah.
He has to go. He has to go. Okay. You guys can have a seat.
So, is it cool if him just step around the corner right there?
Right. He's not privy. He can't be privy to this conversation.
Okay.
You can have a seat, though, because I'm a little tired and I don't want to have to hold my head up.
What you so tired from?
Did you guys look at the YouTube videos?
So I saw some of it. I didn't see all of it. There's, and again, I didn't watch. I don't know how many videos that you've made or.
All right. What was your name?
Sam.
Sam.
Yep.
Okay. Are you aware that the Office of Inspector General has a Department of Justice complaint that's being reviewed right now?
Against
about well, it's about a complaint that was filed about me being harassed and deprived of medical treatment and legal services by the Department of Justice sub-grantees, including the Upora Police Department.
Okay.
All of it is in writing.
Okay.
And what's concerning me about not watching the videos is his question, is why am I so tired? It's all explained in the videos. So what I'd like to do, what was your name again?
Sam.
Sam?
Yep.
What I'd like to do is provide you the opportunity to actually review the evidence that explains the YouTube videos, because the YouTube videos are for the public to view the actual civil deprivation I'm experiencing without an attorney or doctor. The fact that law enforcement officers keep coming to where I reside and are not reviewing the available written evidence that actually explains what happens. So how can I would prefer that you investigate what I've just told you about the Office of Inspector General complaint, so that you can see specifically yourself what you're seeing on YouTube. You can, I don't know if you guys have the right to request that from the Office of Inspector General, but I personally, because I still don't have a doctor or a lawyer, and that's why I'm out of breath right now. I would prefer to just send it to you and let you look at it, and then we can schedule a time for an investigation or for an interview. So
I appreciate you sharing that with me, and I'm sorry if there's been if you're going through a hard time and some stuff's not working out.
It's harassment is what it is. What I've done since 2014 is study individual rights applied by the Constitution. And I've discovered that I'm literally and actually being held hostage at this address by civil deprivation from sub-grantees of the Department of Justice, which would make it, until the government answers that claim through the Office of Inspector General, it would make it an intrusion to come and investigate without knowledge that the person that you're going to investigate may actually be being held hostage by that guy right there. Because that's what the complaint says.
So, and again, I haven't seen all your video. The only thing that was sent to me is a portion of this of a video you're talking about. Some of your property was being either withheld from you or something like that. Can you tell me what kind of
that's the specific issue. You know about the Medicaid expansion in the state of Mississippi?
I don't.
You don't know anything about that?
I don't. I've never had to deal with Medicaid or anything like that. So I just.
Do you have, do you work with your fraud department? Do you know anything about what the federal government alleges against Mississippi in their fraud department?
To be honest with you, Mr. Rush, that's not something that I normally look into, and so I'm not as familiar as that as somebody else may be. So
I would try to give you a synopsis of what it is. I actually write in the local newspaper here in Webster County, so I've kind of gotten a public image of myself from writing in the newspaper, just here locally.
Okay.
And I got ill and applied for disability benefits, and that's when I discovered Mississippi, along with several other states, were disputing expanding Medicaid for low-income individuals in the state of Mississippi.
Okay.
So much so to the fact that in 2015, the same year I applied, the federal government sued the state of Mississippi and won against Mississippi for taking individuals that are similarly situated as me with my disabling condition and placing them in confining situations that would prevent them from making claims that they were being harmed.
Okay.
And that case, I don't know how it ended up, but I think they closed in 2016. And since then, Mississippi has been under investigation for not expanding Medicaid to those individuals. I would be one of those individuals.
Okay.
You're talking about expanding it primarily to low-income individuals.
Well, those are the only people who qualify for it.
Right.
But at what they called Obamacare, the year I applied in October 2014, a section of that provision of law expired the same year, and someone submitted an application in my name at the Starkville field office a month after that provision expired, which caused me to be in that gap of people that the federal government was suing about.
Okay.
And I think it just knowing numbers from being a businessman, I know it's cheaper for Mississippi to let me die without a doctor and a lawyer than to be convicted from being found with an actual person that's there that proves that they are in a second violation of what they've already been found in violation for. And they had someone, that officer chief had someone bring a employee that I accused of filing that application. He brought an employee of a federal law enforcement agency here to the property to claim that my attempts to get the property and have it corrected were a disturbance on federal property, and I've never been there. So I also got false claim reports that are filed against them, and that has been submitted to the Department of... It's one of those big ones. Some DHS is Homeland Security.
Okay.
They look over the federal building. So I submitted the complaint to show that no, I contacted them about getting my property fixed, but I have never been to the property. So I've gotten a lot of harassment from just sub-grantees, but I've literally been sitting here waiting to talk to you guys.
So when you refer to your property, you're referring to the ability to be able to get medical care and...
No, I'm referring to the actual application that was used for me to be able to apply for it.
Oh, so you're wanting that piece of paper?
I don't want it. I don't need it. The Social Security Administration has to have it in order to process it and see that I was in that gap, and they're refusing to do it. So all I need them to do, whoever the employee is that's working there that has it, all they need to do is just process what I found instead of what the false application says, and they are refusing to do it because if it. And honestly, I'm a Mississippian. I don't really want it to happen, but once they do, they are actually going to be admitting that they violated the due process clause of the United States Constitution twice on the same issue.
Gotcha.
In my name. That's what's horrible for me is I was born here and they're going to do it. Even if they don't do it and I die, it'll still be something that'll be placed in my name.
Sure. So I appreciate you sharing that with me. I don't know if all I can do is go back and forward your information on.
And you're with MBI?
No, sir. I'm with the FBI.
So you're with a federal branch. You're not.
Yes, I'm on the federal side. I'm not on the state side.
I think you should look at the DHS complaint too. Then.
Okay. And when did you file your DHS complaint? Or did you file the complaint with DHS?
I filed it with Internal Affairs at DHS.
Okay. And that was here in Mississippi? Or you filed with...
They have a Hattiesburg office and a Jackson office.
Okay.
And the Internal Affairs is like I think it's in Houston. They have a branch that just handles all of the complaints for different sections, and I think I'm in like a section 4 or something like that.
And just for clarification, you're referring to, when you say DHS, Homeland Security or Human Services?
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security. Okay, so you filed a complaint with Homeland Security about someone filing an application.
Oh no, a false. I don't guess it was an arrest, but it was a false report filed by a DHS officer that claimed I was disrupting the business of the Starkville and Columbus offices who have the application, who are processing the fraudulent application.
I'm trying to think, what office in Starkville would it have been?
It's the Social
Security building.
Right, the way the Social Security Administration works. I do everything online.
Right.
And once I file my application online, they send it to an office to be processed.
Okay.
The Starkville office, to prevent my case from being part of that Medicaid expansion that year, that office took the application out that I filed online September the 1st, and they now have that provision expired the end of that month, and they now have an application on file in that office of October the 14th. I just submitted also documents to the Department of Treasury to also, this is why this thing is escalating like this. I've submitted documents to the Department of Treasury to have their records audited.
Okay. All right. So, I'm sorry that you've been going through this hardship. It's, I sympathize with you. And I know that it's probably frustrating on your part trying to get medical help and all that stuff. But as far as your video goes, man, it's easy to get passionate about things, especially when it's your when it's your health and stuff like that. But man, one of the things that you said in this video is that you have an intent to harm U.S. government officials.
Hold on, sir. I want to clarify what you just said. You said in a video that is now posted on YouTube that you saw yourself, that you heard me say that I intend to harm United States government employees.
It was some version of that, yeah. And that's why we're coming here to talk with you. Is just to figure out, man, what's got you upset?
I've just explained to you that I submitted a complaint to the Department of Human Services, the Department of Homeland Security, that a law enforcement officer for the federal government walked into a yard that I am liable for protecting. These are old people.
Sure.
I'm old and sick myself,
Sure.
but I have to use what I have to take care of the old and sick people that are here.
Sure.
I don't have time to debate over what's in your brain and what's in my brain when I know I'm waiting to go to a court and a doctor so that we can have that examined as evidence. And rather than me debate whether or not I actually said that, I'd like to do what I told you before and be very compliant with the need to access a doctor and lawyer and remove the civil deprivation that I'm now experiencing and provide you with accurate written information that shows what's actually happening right now.
Sure.
And I'd like to see the video, you to show me the video that says to you that I intend to harm United States government employees. I'd like to see that.
I don't have a copy of the video right now. It was sent to me. Someone snipped it off of YouTube and sent it to us, and so that's. And again, I'm sorry that you.
I'd like to conclude with that, sir.
That you. I'm sorry that you.
I will not appreciate any legal advice on what I believe to be an untrue statement.
Okay.
I personally know my value for the United States government and its employees, and am offended by the fact that of your point blank statement that says, I intend to harm them.
Okay. So,
and I can
prove
that statement cannot be corroborated.
The only reason I'm here, man, Mr. Rush, is do you have any intent to harm any government officials?
I think I've just answered that question for you, sir. I think what I've just done is said the only way we should continue this conversation is if you actually prove the statements that you made versus my reputation of protecting United States government's officials. Because I can prove that's what I do all day, every day.
Okay.
I cannot prove what you just said.
Okay.
But I'd like for you to do it. I'd like for you to prove that what you just said is true.
Okay. Again, I don't have a copy of the video with me
okay,
right now.
Then.
But that's why
I'd like to conclude, sir. I'd like to conclude, sir. I'd like to conclude, sir. Everything is public for a reason. And it's not so a federal government official can walk into my mother's and grandmother's yard and accuse me of things that I know aren't true.
Okay.
That's not why I'm here. I don't exist for that.
Okay, right on. Well,
thank you, sir.
Sure.
Give me a card and I can send you the information, and we'll see how I can see that video that you've come here about.
Sure. I don't have a card to give you today. You can call the FBI Jackson Field office and they can get you routed to us. Okay.
What's the phone number?
(601-948-5000).
I believe we concluded, sir. I'd like to remind you again, I do not have a doctor or a lawyer, and what I do to protect the government is seek one so that all of our rights are protected. Your right to say I said that, and my right to say I did not. I'm looking for a lawyer to go to a courtroom to settle this all.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You got any follow-ons? All right, Mr. Rush. Appreciate your time. Have a good day.
You as well.
All right, there, y'all do the same.